some wearing down. This is actual Alcantara. And start the basic stitching. We are all finished. Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Evo. Today I'm going to show you, or try to show you, how to fix a badly worn out steering wheel on an Evo 7, 8 or 9. Yeah, so this is the factory Evo 8, 7, 8, 9 steering wheel. Now, it's an awesome wheel. From factory, it was made by Momo. 3-spoke, simple, no buttons. I always loved this steering wheel because of that fact. I never really wanted to go aftermarket steering wheel on this, just because of that fact that I like the factory wheel so much. But if you own an Evo 7, 8, 9, or if you know someone who does, you know, as the cars get older, one of the most annoying things with these now is the steering wheel. It wears out like crazy. Depending on how well it was taken care of in the past, it can just pretty much deteriorate. Mine has been, it survived quite well considering how old the car is now, but as you can see, there is some wearing down that has been happening. Ever since I started taking it on track days, things like that, your hands go crazy all over, you're gripping everywhere and the wheel's sliding all through, and it's been wearing away and it's been killing me a bit. But never mind that, we are going to be fixing all of this today with something new that I've actually got in a while ago. Alright guys, so this is the new steering wheel cover that I'm going to be putting on. It's from a company called MeWant in China. I actually ordered this from them off of eBay. But yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed with the amount of customization you can do with something like this. I bought this, I think, almost 6 months ago. It's just been sitting here. I haven't got around to doing it, but finally doing it now. But let me show you what you get in the package. Open it. Comes nicely packaged. Instructions on how to install it. We'll look at that a bit later. You get the actual cover itself in a little bag, dust bag, kind of nice. So this is the cover. You get some tools to help installation, tape, some thread, a needle as well, I'm hoping, and a trim removal kind of pry tool. So this is the cover itself. As I was saying, I was kind of impressed with the amount of customization you could do. Basically, the standard option they have is just a black suede cover with a red indicator stripe on the top. But you know, you can pick different materials. So they had black suede, like a nubuck. They had like real leather, or they had this was the top option they had. This is actual Alcantara, or what they told me is actual Alcantara. But it does feel very nice. I think I believe them when they tell me it's Alcantara, you know. Here we go. Yeah, I believe them. But yeah, so you can pick the material, you can pick the thread color. So a lot of people will go for red or something like that. And you can also pick the center stripe. So usually there's just a single stripe, and I think the default option is red. But you know me, I'm a JDM fanboy, and I don't know if you guys know, I'll put a picture up now, but Greddy a couple years ago released a steering wheel, a aftermarket steering wheel of theirs. I think it was the Kengushi edition, but it had the 3 Greddy colored stripes along the top, and I just thought that was awesome. I mean, the colors aren't perfect, but it's good enough. But to have this to emulate that, I think it'll be pretty nice. So you get that. You can also customize the color of the thread that you want to actually stitch on the cover. And yes, you do have to stitch this on, which is a little bit of a pain, which is why some people avoid doing this, I feel. But from what I've seen and from people that have done it already, it's a pretty nice option. It looks pretty good when it's on there, and doesn't seem that hard, just a little bit of effort. But let's mock this up and see how we go. Okay, alrighty guys. So we have the stock factory steering wheel here. Let's mock up the actual color, the cover first. So they mark the back and the front of the cover with 2 stickers. Right, so the cover is test fitted. The thing is super snug. I mean, I guess you expect it to be if it's going to be sewn on or anything, but yeah, it's ultra snug. It's not too, it looks pretty good. It's not too bad. I think the most important thing at this stage is kind of lining everything up before you start stitching it. But yeah, it looks pretty good. These stripes look awesome. The excess is supposed to tuck in underneath this bit. That's why they give you the, what you call it, the trim remover tool to literally just like stuff this part in behind here. But lucky for Evo owners, these steering wheels, these clips actually come off. Quite simply, there's two pieces. You pull it apart. Let me do this here, like that. So that's the front piece, and then the rear piece. Wing a little bit. Okay, that's the front and rear piece. So basically, all of them come out just like that. Do not lose these. The factory clips are impossible to get again, as far as I know. These are as rare as hen's teeth. So people do 3D print these now through the magic of 3D printing, but they're just not as nice as the factory ones. Don't lose these, try not to break them. But yeah, obviously now that's off, we can stitch this up, tuck it nice behind there already, and then reinstall the clips. And it should look really good. Kind of just want to make sure it's even. I'm focusing a lot on these two sections because I think that's where you're going to be feeling it and looking at it the most. So if it's like ugly there, you're going to notice it pretty much. Whereas like if it's somewhere else, like underneath here, it's not too bad. But here you want to make sure you've got like enough material to come together once you start sewing it up. They give you a roll of double-sided tape. In some of the instructional videos, they tell you to tape it, put it all around your wheel, just all around to help hold the cover on. I want to avoid using that if I can, if possible. So I'm going to start installing without it first, and then if the cover does slip and slide and move everywhere, then I'll come back through, add the tape. But I really want to kind of avoid using that in the first instance. But yeah, so it covers all lined up. I'm going to start, I think, with this section. Start sewing that up. If that goes well, hopefully I can talk you through how to do the rest of it. But yeah, let me start on this part. Alright guys, welcome back. I've done this section of the wheel. I've done it maybe twice now. I pulled it out, did it again, just trying to get it right. But as you can see, it looks decent. This section here where there's like a joint, see if I can get this, where there's a joint, it's kind of hard to get it to all connect. It's like there's not enough material to kind of close it all together. But yeah, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there. Up here where the thumb goes, it was a little tough to kind of get it all together, but you know, from afar it looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. I am pretty happy with that. But yeah, I kind of got the process down now. It's not too bad. I'll show you guys how to do this part with what I figured out doing this side. So first thing you want to do is get your thread. And then you want to take some of it out. So basically what you want to do is try to measure the distance of what you're going to be stitching. So from here to here, that's about that much. Take that and then take that amount and then pretty much triple it, and then I would even say quadruple it like that. And then you want to cut that, because the last thing you want to happen is for you to be stitching going along, and then when you reach the end you actually run out of thread. That's just a bad time. Ask me how I know. So once you have your thread, take your needle, and then just kind of thread that through the eye. So to give yourself a generous amount here. So it's kind of going through like that, and then tie it, just a basic knot. So to get started, to start on this thing, what you want to do is you're going to start on the outer flap. So not the one behind the wheel, this one at the front, okay? So you've got your needle, you got your thread, it's looped through the eye, you got your knot, everything's good on this end. So you take this end, you go to the other end of the thread. So you go to this end of the thread, and then you want to tie a knot, but a loose knot. Don't pull it tight, but you want to leave it loose. So you tie a knot like that, and then you leave it loose, okay? Leave it like that. Okay, so now what you do is you go behind this flap, you find where that top kind of stitching loop starts, and then you feed your needle through the bottom of that. So if you go through like that, you pull it all the way through until you get to that knot you just tied, and then you stop until you just tied, and then what you want to do is you feed your needle back through that loop, and as you do that you pull your thread through, and then at the end you kind of pull it all together tightly. There you go. And then that's basically how you get started. So boom, that is where you're going to start. Okay, so next thing you want to do, your thread should now be behind your needle, actually should be behind this front flap. So what you want to do is find that first rung, find the hole where that first stitch comes out, and put your needle through it to bring it to the front of the steering wheel cover. So basically like that. Pull this through now. So now it's facing, your needle's coming out the front, your thread is coming out the front like that. And then we can start the basic stitching. Alright guys, basically in order to get this started, you should have your needle thread coming out the front of the cover. Basically what you want to do is just go back and forth in a crisscross through these stitch loopholes, kind of like you're doing shoelaces. So your first move would be to take your thread and go through the topmost loop on the back. Pull it through and pull it snug. Pull it snug like that, and then now basically what you do is you bring your needle and you come back through the first loophole, pull that through, pull it tight-ish, not too tight, and you can see it's taking shape already. And then just keep going, back and forth. Pay attention to like this area a lot, and then the area up near the thumbs, like the tight areas. But basically that's what you do the whole way up the wheel. So I'll move the camera now, I'll kind of time lapse me doing it so you can have a look. Alright guys, so hopefully you would have just seen me stitch this whole part of the wheel. I think you would have seen me. I did undo and go back over this part here where the join in the cover is. It seems you just got to really be patient and take your time with this part, because it really kind of massage the two parts together, because that's where I'm having the most problems with the two pieces not kind of joining together nicely. But I went back through it, looks okay. So once you're finished, your needle will be coming out the top. In order to finish this off, what you want to do is go to the opposite side of the cover, poke your needle back through. Kind of want to go back through the last loop one more time. Okay, nice. and then you want to take your needle and poke it back through the cover. So now that it's coming out the back side, like that. Okay, you know, it's probably a horrible explanation. I'm not very good at explaining this. But yeah, okay, so now that it's coming out the back, what you do is you loop your thread around the needle about 3 times. You pull it as close to the cover as possible, and you push your needle through the loops that you just made. You pull it all the way through, keep pulling. And basically, that just creates a knot in the thread. You can see there's a nice little knot we have. There's a little knot there, and then basically you're done. So now you just snip that, and you tuck it away. So that is that one done. Alright guys, so here's how the wheel looks so far. We've stitched the 2 bottom parts. It looks pretty good actually. Let me see if I can show you the actual stitching and have it focus. But yeah, it's not too bad. It looks pretty good, pretty happy with it. But basically, yeah, this bottom part is done, which means we can kind of put our clip back on. Like I said, and the benefit with the Evo wheel is you can just put the clips back on over the top of the actual cover. You don't have to spend ages trying to jam it behind a trim piece. So let me take this apart. Showing how these come apart, they just pull apart. There's a kind of rod and the receiver in the middle. They kind of come away from each other. Boom, like that. So now this just goes on here. Make sure all of the cover is actually behind. Push it down like that, and then this other one just goes behind. It's kind of hard doing one-handed, but with the front on, you kind of see how it looks. It looks pretty good. I like it. Alright, anyway, let me just finish stitching the top. Probably won't film that, you don't need to see me do that. And we'll come back with the finished product. Alright guys, we are all finished. It looks pretty good, honestly, it looks good. Took me, all in all, it took me about, I want to say 3 and a bit hours. Yeah, it takes a while, but I think the results are really worth it. It looks much nicer than before. It feels great, honestly. There are some couple parts where like I couldn't get the wrap to fully close on itself. Usually it's mainly around like these problem areas here with where the join is, and also this part where it kind of bulges up for the thumb thing. I don't know if I can show you, but there, it doesn't really show on camera, but that's not fully close together. And then on this side, yeah, so you can see here, it's not fully pinched together, but it's still, you don't really feel it in your hands. You don't really see it either, but the rest of it is pretty good. Pretty happy with how the rest of it went. Looks nice. Oh yeah, and also the other problem area was just the top of here. These 2 tops where your thumb goes, which kind of sucks because that's where your thumbs are the most of the time, but it was almost impossible to get the wrap to fully close around those areas. So there's a lot of just of the thread kind of holding it there. Yeah, not the greatest, but everywhere else besides those points that I showed, everywhere else, it's great. Feels good, looks good. Didn't have to use a double-sided tape, which I don't know, it's good or bad. It is tight enough that it won't move around, but yeah, you can obviously kind of twist it if you try hard enough. Yeah, obviously I put the clips back in as well. Looks great. But yeah, super happy with that. Super happy. really interested to see how it kind of holds up over time, but you know, a lot better than it was before. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully maybe this video inspires you to put a wrap on your steering wheel. Not too difficult, and I think the results, it looks great, it feels great, much better than before. And you know, even if your steering wheel doesn't need repair, if you do have like a vintage car like this is an 04 model, and you kind of want to preserve it, this is a great way to kind of preserve it. It doesn't damage the wheel underneath, and offers some protection. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Until the next one, see ya.